8 o'clock. Let's play a song. I knew a girl, came from across the sea. She didn't plan to stay here, but she came back to live with me. Now my friends like her better than they like me, and I don't mind, I do too. Shows the quality of my good friends who know I'm a lucky man, you see. Ah, but enough about me. I knew a man, traveled the land, singing his songs anywhere he could lend a hand, or anywhere he could take a stand. When things didn't work out like you planned, I've sung his songs, I love the man. He was wise enough to understand, to fill his shoes was not my destiny. Ah, but enough about me. I knew a country, great and strong, with a powerful sense of what's right and what's wrong, from whatever race or religion you came. Your rights and your freedoms were all the same, and I believe that anything less would surely mean we've gone and made a mess of this beautiful land of the free. Ah, but enough about me. But enough about me. I knew a child who loved to dance, break into a move anytime there was a chance. You could hear all the laughter all in the air, from here to the far side of the square. And growing up can be so very hard, but don't forget that childhood love is still a part of you for all to see. Ah, but enough about me. Ah, but enough about me. All right. Well, I guess that's my official sound check. So pretty good. Is it all right? Does it sound okay? Is it loud enough? I can turn it up if it's not loud enough. I have it muted on my end so it won't feed back, but that's just a convenience for me. Any comments out there? I got 20 seconds. I can wait. Let's take these off. Well, maybe after I look at the comments. Hello, it all sounds good. Good, good, good. Okay. Greetings from Ruth Ann Stewart in Arizona. Hey, 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 guys. Had a great time at your house. Thank you so much. You know what? Since you're on, let's see if I can find something here real quick. Can't say if this is possible or not, but I'm going to give it a try. Maybe. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I recently released my second USB flash drive with 4 music projects on it. It's, let me see, I have one here someplace. At least I thought I did. Where'd it go? Here it is. It looks like this, and it has a dozen videos from Germany from April of 2024, and also some audio tracks from Germany in 2017. But it also has 11 songs that I recorded in Chicago in 1981 that I've not ever really released, most of them. And I think 8 of them I'd never released before. And then the other project is a 1984 recording from a couple nights at the Speakeasy on McDougal Street. Let's see if I can play this for you. I don't think I've sung this song live in 30 years, maybe 40. You ask me if I've been traveling. You ask me where now have I been. Been across the western rivers. I'll tell you what I've seen. Towns left dead beside the highway when it went some different way. Cities choking and exhausting. Trains stopped dead in the day. I've seen days so blue no robin's egg could ever seem but pale against the sky. Drunk from a winter waterfall, seen the snow hard against the line. A woman in the prison of her misery took the time to cure me mine. A child said, "You're the midnight traveler," and I was sad to leave him behind. And sometimes in the heart of darkness, sometimes in the heat of the night, I want to put 1,000 miles between myself and these aching eyes. Sometimes the rain, she sizzles. Sometimes the wind, she cries. Sometimes I sit beneath the open sky and sing out one more lullaby. Seen the flag trampled in anger, wrapped around the bodies of the dead, used as a shield for soldiers who would not have been there if the truth had been said. Walked an empty highway in the dead of night, stood where the hobos called their homes, heard the jukebox in 100 towns. A man asked where the music had gone. Then a cowboy buys a whiskey, shoots it down, heads for the doorway, big gun in his hand. Somewhere in the screaming of seagulls, there's a choir singing across the land. Stood for hours to hear the music play, seen a crowd walk by, the music to a white man with a gray gun shot a black man in the heat of the afternoon. And sometimes in the heart of darkness, sometimes in the heat of the night, I want to put 1,000 miles between myself and these aching eyes. And sometimes the rain, she sizzles. Sometimes Thousands stand for hours in a stadium, cheering somebody's broken bones. The winner is the one who ain't torn limb from limb. Somebody whispers, ain't we just like Rome? A gladiator in the locker room tells you how he loves to play the game. One day he's a hero, the next he's gone. The crowd kept cheering the same. And I stood in the city, rain a-pouring down, slept by the river in the sun, danced with a woman I could barely believe, said goodbye when the dance was done. I'm young and I'm old on this checkerboard, searching for a dream that will come true. Hearing the song you're singing, singing it back to you. And sometimes in the heart of darkness, sometimes in the heat of the night, I want to put 1,000 miles between myself and these aching eyes. Sometimes the rain, she sizzles, and sometimes the wind, she cries, and sometimes I sit beneath the open sky and sing out one more, sing out one more, sing out one more lullaby. Well, that was certainly nostalgic. You know, I'm not sure what year I wrote that song. I think it was about 1978, give or take a year or two. I had spent quite a bit of time hitchhiking around the country, just goofing around, meeting people, getting my toes wet in the dirt and the rivers, and I don't know how to even describe it. I went back to New York City at some point and tried to figure it all out. And from about 1974 to 1978, I didn't have anywhere to live officially. I just crashed wherever anybody would have me and hitchhiked back and forth across the country a couple times and met everybody I could meet and played everywhere I could play. And I suppose that was my progress report at the time. Anyway, for those of you who got on here a bit late, that's a song from my latest release, which is a USB flash drive of four projects. I'm seeing what I'm holding up. 20 seconds later, there it is. It's some songs recorded in Chicago. That was one of those. And some songs from the Speakeasy. In fact, here's one from the Speakeasy from 1984. Let's play one of these. This will be fun. Let's see. Meet me, baby, after the bombs do fall. Meet me, baby, after the bombs do fall. When the sky gets white and it gets hot, a couple of minutes is all you got. Meet me, darling, I'll be waiting for your call. Look me up when there's no one else around. Look me up when there's no one else around. When you got no time left to grieve, all you got time to do is leave. You can call on me when your friends can't be found. Say, hey, now you gotta keep yourself alive. Say, hey, now you got to keep yourself alive. If we're all that's left of human beings, they're gonna need them chromosomes and genes, and I'm counting on you to be there to survive. I'll be just as glad if it don't happen at all. I'll be just as glad if it don't happen at all. You can go your way and I'll go mine. There gotta be a better way to be any old time, but you can call on me when your back's against the wall. Meet me, baby, after the bombs do fall. When the sky gets white, it gets hot. A couple of minutes is all you got. Meet me, darling, I'll be waiting for your call. I tell you, I miss John Cruth playing on that one. The Speakeasy stuff is with my mid-'80s White Buffalo band with John and Howie Wyeth and Mark Dan. Well, let's play something a little more recent here. Let's see. Here's a tune I wrote just about, I think, around the 1st of December or so. I've already had a couple people learn it. I haven't heard them sing it yet, but they've told me they are singing it. Just kind of interesting. And probably doesn't need much of an introduction. Here's one for all the parents who have kids in public schools and are concerned about what they might chance to read. When it comes to education, you can trust my administration to step in and meet this very pressing need. Keep 'em stupid, ban that book, don't even let 'em look. Take it down off the rack, throw it on the fire out back. Keep 'em stupid, let 'em grow. Never knowing what they don't know. Ban that book, no muss, no fuss. Then they'll always vote for us. Hey, you folks at home, you can definitely sing along if you like. Here's one that's so outrageous, full of perverted pages, about 2 penguins trying to raise an egg as one. Do you believe that they're both male? Did it turn poor Jesus pale? Get it out of here before it hurts someone. Hey, keep 'em stupid, ban that book, don't even let 'em look. Take it down off the rack, throw it on the fire out back. Keep 'em stupid, let 'em grow. Never knowing what they don't know. Ban that book, no muss, no fuss. Then they'll always vote for us. And don't get me started, baby, on the history of slavery and the theory there might have been racists in the South. All those lynchings never happened, and it was so good for black men. The kids don't need to read about it now. Hey, keep 'em stupid, ban that book, don't even let 'em look. Take it down off the rack, throw it on the fire out back. Keep 'em stupid, let 'em grow. Never knowing what they don't know. Ban that book, no muss, no fuss. Then they'll always vote for us. socialists and commies. The two women can't be mommies, and it's time their children finally understood. The sex you're born to's undeniable. You want to read? Here's a Bible. Those empty shelves are only there for your own good. Hey, keep them stupid, ban that book. Don't even let them look. Take it down off the rack, throw it on the fire out back. Keep them stupid, let them grow. Never knowing what they don't know. Ban that book, no muss, no fuss. Then they'll always vote for us. And the moral of the story is, well, anyway. Well, I should take a second and look at the comments over here. They're very tiny on my screen, so it's actually really hard for me to see them. And my glasses aren't much good anymore. But let's see if I can maybe take a look here. One more lullaby once again, yes. Truth bless America. That's a good slogan. I like that. Hi, Mike Riley. Good to see you here. Jeff Westergaard. Hi, Carolyn. Carolyn Moss. Well, hey there, Carolyn Moss. I'd sing in a hotel room by the airport for you, but I don't think I'd ever be able to remember it all. But you folks who were back in the village in those days no doubt remember Carolyn, one of the best singers that ever walked the streets of Greenwich Village. All right. Well, let's do something that I get a lot of requests for. And I like this song very much. You who sleep beside me here in this quiet night, do you ever wonder how you first came in sight? The bells of the cathedral were dying in the wind. You looked at me and smiled across your crowd of friends, and I felt her recognition, not of someone from the past, but of a true beauty that was meant to last. And I wanted to speak to you, or even say your name and get it right. You who sleep beside me here in this quiet night. Now you who sleep beside me here in this quiet life, do you ever wonder how you became my wife? The room was lit by just a candle. Over by the bed, you walked across the room, smiled and turned your head, and I felt her recognition, not of from another time, but of the meaning of the words, will you be mine? And I wanted to hold you, safe from every sorrow or strife. You who sleep beside me here in this quiet life. Now you who sleep beside me here in this quiet place, do you ever wonder at the futures we face? At the sound of thunder I look for shelter for two, and I walk through this world knowing I'll come to rest with you. And I feel a recognition, not a habit or right or wrong, but a feeling of arriving at the place where I belong. And I whisper I love you and leave you in your own state of grace. You who sleep beside me here in this quiet place, beside me here in this quiet night. Okay. Well, for those of you folks who checked in early here, and I'm glad to see you. I'm not making a big deal of it, but if anybody wants to know if there's a tip jar, there is. It's called Donate to Rod at paypal.me, I think it is. Haven't used it in a while, but I'm sure it still works. That's one word, donate to Rod at paypal.me. I mentioned earlier that I've been out on the road the last month or so. Went out to the southwestern U.S. and played in Tallahassee, Florida, and Little Rock, Arkansas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I guess that was my state capital tour. I didn't really think about it. But one of the things that I pay attention to, since people often don't know a lot of the new songs that I'm playing in shows, I like to play a lot of new songs, is when they come up to me during the break or at the end of the night and they say, is there a CD or is there one of these USB flash drives with one song or the other on it? I kind of make a mental note of it. And I thought it was interesting on this last tour that far and away the most requested song for anybody to want to buy and take home with them was this next one. It's on Rants And Romance, which came out in 2023. And it's called Cry Freedom. Hey, what's up, America? Ready for the big one? Are you lining up to vote for Jesus and Kingdom Come? Only the men to have authority, except for a few women and minorities who service their masters and polish their guns so they can go out and punish those reluctant ones with their election day hit squads and their psychotic judges. And then stand before you with a straight face like the boy who cried wolf. And cry freedom. They cry freedom when they're taking it away. They don't mean freedom for you. They mean freedom for themselves. To tell you what to do and your kids how to think. They're the ones who identify with the best policies money can buy and what elections they must personally run to serve the fetus and the gun and push other people around. All they do is bring you down when they stand before you with a straight face like the boy who cried wolf. Freedom on election day. for the big shootout? Open carry everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. What could possibly go wrong? Well-armed militias in every town, with a Bible and a fiery cross. There's some who'd call that paradise. I could say more, but I'm being nice. And why should I worry when deep down I know they're just building him up to lay us all down low? When they stand before you with a straight face, like the boy who cries wolf, and cry freedom. So cry freedom on election day. Cry freedom, make them all go away. Cry freedom, that's the plan. Cry freedom, take a stand. Cry freedom while you still can. Everybody please, cry freedom. Cry Freedom, that's on Rants And Romance. That's also on one of these USB drives. You can find these on my website. There's links on rodmacdonald.com and .net. Well, I should see if there's anybody requesting any songs over here. It's always fun to play a request or two. Problem is I'm going to have to get real close to this computer to see it. I wrote a song. That's the one. You're giving me courage to go live. It says Zizi. I think it is Zizi Roberts. Hi, Bill Paris. Phyllis Conroy just stumbled. Hey, hi, Phyllis. Nice to see you up there in Ithaca. And Bruce Caldwell. This is one of the things I most like about doing these shows is just kind of hearing from people, friends from far and near. I have to say I can barely read the print. My eyes aren't what they used to be, and it's very, very small. And I'm sitting about 4 feet from the computer, 4 or 5 feet, because otherwise it tends to distort the sound when I play. So, but I'll read them all afterwards, I guess is what I'll do. The last song, of course, was based on the 1984, the Orwellian aspect of things today, that politicians say things like, I stand for freedom. And then, of course, I read somewhere that Donald Trump said recently that he considered himself the greatest defender ever of the First Amendment. This is the guy who takes your money away if you, say that you don't like something he's done. And he considers himself a great defender of the First Amendment. Obviously, he means his First Amendment, but not anybody else's. But what are you going to do? I'm doing some shows around the Northeast coming up. And also, if you're in South Florida, my band, Big Brass Bed, is doing a Bob Dylan birthday party concert at the Funky Biscuit in Boca Raton on May 18, which we've been doing now for about 5 or 6 years. Always a really great time. The Funky Biscuit, one of the nicest clubs in this area for sure, and always has a very professional sound. And I love doing shows there, and my band is great fun to play with. Big Brass Bed has been together through various personnel changes since 2002. Bill Meredith, the drummer, and I are the original members, and some of the other guys have come and gone. All very, very fine players, top notch. In fact, it's very possible I'm the worst musician in the band. If somebody said that to me, I wouldn't even disagree. But we love doing these concerts. I'm also doing 2 Dylan Fests, one at the Long Island Museum in Stony Brook, New York on May 18. Oh, the birthday party at the in Boca Raton is May 21st. May 18 is a Dylan Fest at Stony Brook at the Long Island Museum. That sells out in advance. It features the Kennedys, Russ Seeger, Jack LaCitra, myself, and a house band. Sells out every year well in advance, but there might still be tickets left if you give it a shot. Go to sundaystreet.org if you're interested in that one. And let's see, what else am I doing? I'm doing the Warwick Valley Winery Dylan Fest on Memorial Day. I don't know who else is booked there yet. I think the Kennedys are. We usually do that together, kind of. And Sloan Wainwright, I think, is on that day. Don't know who else. On the 29th of May, if you live in the area near Hyde Park, New York, just north of Poughkeepsie, Mark Dan and I are doing a 5 o'clock concert in the library, the Hyde Park Free Library, a place we've played several times. Very nice little spot. Very intimate kind of little concerts, that particular show. And on May 30, if you're anywhere near Liberty, New York, I'm doing a thing called the Liberty Folk Festival. Mark Dan again with me. And also on the bill are Alex Crossman, Miranda Hardy, Jack Hardy's daughter, who's got 2 CDs out nowadays, and Justin Sutherland, I believe his name. Don't know Justin, but I'm sure that he's probably really good. And that starts at 6:30 on May 30 at the Liberty Museum in downtown Liberty, New York, right off Route 17. If you're up in the Syracuse area on June 21st, I'm playing Freedom Fest at the National Abolitionist Museum in Peterborough, which I think is a short drive from Fullis Conroy and Ithaca, not too far. A short drive south of Syracuse. And I think that it's free to the public. I'm not sure. I'm on somewhere in the afternoon, probably 2 or 3 o'clock, something like that. The whole event is over by 4 or 5 o'clock. Also, I would love to mention this. If you are a songwriter looking to up your game or even get started writing songs, I'm teaching a week-long songwriting workshop for Common Ground on the Hill, which is a tremendous arts camp in Western Maryland. Has the most amazing faculty. I've been there in person several times as a teacher, and everybody that I've ever met on the faculty there is usually very well-known people. Bob Green, from one of the great mandolin players in the New York scene, teaches there. Harry Orlov, who's a renowned studio guitarist from Los Angeles, teaches a school of rock to teenagers, and also electric guitar. And great teacher, a really fun guy to hang out with. Quite a few traditional people. Also, there's a lot of Appalachian folk music involved there, and there's a lot of folk arts. I would totally recommend, even for your own curiosity, just go to commongroundonthehill.org. One word, commongroundonthehill.org, and check it out. If you search in the faculty for Rod MacDonald, you'll find my course offering, which is called Songwriting for Self-Expression. It's 10:30 in the morning for 5 days in a row, and it's interactive. I talk a bit about songwriting, nuts and bolts philosophy, but I don't have a particular axe to grind about songwriting, except that the best way to write songs is to actually do them, to write songs. That's my particular axe, get you working on it, and then we share our work during the class online via Zoom, and everybody has a chance to constructively comment to each other. So you can find a link to that on my website, rodmacdonald.com, or .net. I imagine it's probably on both. And let's get back to the music before it gets too late here. You know, I think I'll sing this one right now. This is a song that I probably get the most requests for over time. And that's okay with me. I love this song, and it opened so many doors in my life to me and helped me in so many ways that I probably will never get tired of singing it. Although, as I'm getting older, as I'm not getting any younger, it's still tough, but I love it. They say you've got to lose before you can win. They say you've got to choose before you can give in. And you've got to cut loose to get back again. And it's a long way back home. They say you've got to fall before you can land. They say you've got to crawl before you can stand. And you've got to lose it all to get what you planned. And it's a long way back home. And it's a long way back home. When you're standing on some place you've never known, and I might see you where the rivers flow. Like me, you're looking for white buffalo. They say you've got to die before you can live. They say you've got to cry before you can give. And you've got to say goodbye before you can come back in. And it's a long way back home. They say you've got to seed what you're going to grow. They say you've got to need what you're going to let go. And you've got to believe what you're going to know. And it's a long way back home. And it's a long way back home. When you're standing on some place you've never known, and I might see you where the rivers flow. Like me, you're looking for white buffalo. So I say to you farewell, for we will meet again in the hottest flames of hell. I could only call you friend. And when you hear that final bell, do not ask who found your way back home. And it's a long way back home. When you're standing on some place you've never known, and I might see you where the rivers flow. Like me, you're looking. Like me, you're looking. You're just like me. You're looking. Oh, you're just like me. You're looking. Oh, you're just like me. You're looking for white buffalo. Well, the old wrong harmonica trick. That's one way to make sure you don't play too long. Well, last week I had the opportunity to go back to the Hopi Reservation. Those of you who've known me for any time know that it was a very important thing in my life, in my own perspective of my life, to go there in 1981. And when I went there, I met a man named Thomas Banyakia, and I went back there really to see if I could find his son and give him a copy of The American Guerrillas, which has some parts of it that are kind of inspired by things that I learned about on the reservation. And I want to say that's not to say that it's an accurate description of what goes on the reservation. It's a novel. But a lot of it was inspired by meeting Mr. Banyakia and also by going there. And when I met Thomas Sr. back in 1981, his son wasn't around. He's about my age. He went to college and graduate school and got a degree in nuclear physics, and also worked as a virologist doing research for the United States government. Went to Geneva with a scientific delegation, presented papers in England where he met his wife. Quite an educated man, very nice man. And I had a chance to spend about 3 hours over lunch just talking with him and his wife, Teresa. And I'm not sure that he ever knew about it. I gave him a copy of the recording. But when I met Thomas Sr. back in 1981, he asked me why I was there. And I said I was there to learn what I could. And he kind of rolled his eyes and thought, oh, another white kid, who read the book. And then I said, but I'd like to sing you a song. And then he said, oh, a song. I'd love to hear a song. And so this is the song I played him. And I feel like I ought to sing this one more often sometimes. Dear grandfather, my people are troubled these days. We put so much faith in things, but things ain't worth the ways you have to pay for them. And dear grandfather, so much our freedom depends on how well we pretend. We'll kill more than they'll kill of us in the end. And I call to you, wishing to serve you well. Is there a way I can heal what keeps us apart? And dear grandfather, we tax all the land for what it's worth, till it has to make money, and we build something ugly, an insult to the sky and the earth. And dear grandfather, our rivers have suffered the worst, and I learned to drink before I learned to think, and still I am dying of thirst. And I call to you, wishing to serve you well. Is there a way I can heal what keeps us apart? For I am an orphan who's come home to you in my heart. And dear grandfather, I put my faith in a song, till I'm learning to believe you get what you need. Sometimes you must lay it down. And dear grandfather, to your silence I have come, for the wisest of men say we've spit on your hand, and soon your answer will come. And I call to you, wishing to serve you well. Is there a way I can heal what keeps us apart? For I am an orphan who's come home to you in my heart. Well, after I sang that for Mr. Banyaka, he was eating some melon, and he looked at me and he said, I've told this story a bunch, but just to bring it around, he looked at me and he said, you know, I was in a place that had music with food once. Why don't you come have something to eat? But what I haven't often said as a follow-up to that story is that afterwards, he asked me where I was going, and I said I was going to go up to Oribe, which is an old town, the oldest continuously occupied town in the United States since about 1000 AD or so. And he said, how are you going to get there? And I said, well, I'm going to go out to the highway and walk in the road. And he said to me, no, don't do that. Walk straight out my door and walk through the scrub brush across all this open dirt here. And you'll come to the edge of the rock then. Oribe's up a few hundred feet on top of the rocks, but you'll come to a path that goes up the side of the rocks. Nobody knows it's there except the people who live there, but you can go up that way. And so I did. And I got up to the top, and two things happened to me. The first thing was I took my guitar, which I had with me, and I went out and I stood on a rock overlooking the entire valley. You could see, looks like you can see 50 miles from that spot. I'm a person who's scared of heights normally. So for me, standing on the edge of a rock with a drop of a couple hundred feet down, maybe 300, 400, 500 feet, I couldn't tell you, was a total knee-knocking experience. But while I was there, I made up a song. The other thing that happened to me was that as I was leaving the town, a little kid ran up to me and he said, the chief's wife wants to talk to you. And I followed him back to where the chief's wife and chief lived. And she looked at me and she said, "You owe me $2 for walking through town." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Didn't you see the sign on the way in?" I said, "No, I didn't." She said, "There's a huge sign out by the highway." I told her, "Well, I didn't come in from the highway." And she said, "Oh, how did you get here?" And I said, "Well, I came up the back way." She said, "How did you know about the back way?" I said, "Thomas told me about it." And then she looked at me for a minute and she said, "Oh, okay, you don't owe me $2. And she told me I could walk around wherever I wanted to, as long as I didn't bother people and as long as I left before dark. So I spent the afternoon walking around O'Reilly by myself. And at some point, either before or after, I went out and I stood on this rock and I made up this song, which I'd like to sing for you. It's, I think this is one of the last songs on A Tale of Two Americas. I've been trying to find a way to climb this mountain all day, a trail out on the sand. I'm overwhelmed by what I see, carved out by the centuries, barely touched by man. And here I stand before you, my two legs in your wind. I bring my song before you, just to see your face again. I'm not a man who often tried to climb on a place this high, but here I'm not afraid. There's things that go more high, I know. The clouds make shadows down below, where my shadows stay. And here I stand before you, my two legs in your wind. I bring my song before you, just to see your face again. And if I've got a tale to tell, I must sing my song so well, you will hear it somewhere. Or let another man than I stand here pressed against the sky, raising his voice on high to you out there. But I must go back to where I came, mind the wind and heed the rain, sing a song that's true. But if this moment in the sun could be shared by everyone, they'd see the work you do. And here I stand before you, my two legs in your wind. I bring my song before you, just to see your face again, just to see your face again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. by prior arrangement with the management, I'm going to stop there so my daughter can get some sleep for school tomorrow. She has to get up very early. Let me just mention, my schedule has just been updated on rodmacdonald.net and rodmacdonald.com. And if you'd like to know if there's a tip jar, you can use donate to Rod at paypal.me. And if you can't afford anything or don't feel like paying anything and just prefer a free concert, that's fine too. But I'll be glad to spend whatever anybody wishes to put in the tip jar. I think, as far as I can tell, the sound and video were pretty good quality on this, which is a marked departure from when I tried to do it the last time or two, about a year ago. So I'll try and do this again soon, and I'll give you a little more warning ahead of time. Thank you all so very much for listening, and whatever you do, keep your eyes open and your heart open too. Things are kind of lousy right now in a lot of ways, but I think that we have the strength within us as a people to withstand this, and that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, see you next time, or somewhere else.